Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party, and let's try Avadon 2, The Corruption. It's an old school isometric turn-based RPG by Spiderweb Software. You can pick it up for $9.99 for Windows or Mac from either Steam or GOG. Oddly enough, you can also pick it up from the developer site, but it's $20 there, so keep that in mind. I generally suggest that you buy it from the developer's website, but I can't with good conscience tell you to go spend $10 more at the developer's website, unless you love the series. And by series, I mean the second game, and think they deserve it. You can also pick it up on iPad, but I don't know how much it is there. It does support Steam achievements. So let's go ahead and load a game here. We will go to, I think it's this one. I think I'm done with the spiders. Actually, no. Sorry about that. Loaded the wrong game right off the bat. Sorry about that. So, Avadon 2, I have not played the first game, even though I've had it for a long time. Steam sales, what are you going to do? But I've had the first one for a while. I heard a lot of good things about it. I like hearing about the old school style of game and wanted to give it a try. Now, here is Avadon. Now, it's not going to win any awards for graphics, obviously. It's very simplistic graphics, very old school in the way it looks, got the isometric look to it. But it's a lot of fun so far. So, you have a party. This is your character. My main character is Malachi, and you have these two companions, and right now we're actually helping a shopkeeper clear out a few spiders that have run amok down in the cellars here. Oh, I can hear something making noises. Now, the one way this game is very interesting is that items on the ground, you don't just click on like you could in a regular RPG. What you do is you hit G, or there's keys for all this, but I'll be using the hotkeys. And you can actually see everything that's on the ground here. One interesting thing they've done is a lot of these windows you can actually press keys to access. So like if I want to pick up this mushroom, for example, I could obviously click on it, or I could just hit B and it picks it up. Pretty neat. And then I can hit escape. You can see my inventory. Pretty standard RPG here. You've got all your weapon slots, you get your weapon slots, armor slots, etc. And you have encumbrance to deal with. Though what's interesting is you don't have character encumbrance. So, for example, I could carry all the heavy stuff in my pack as I want. It doesn't matter. Encumbrance only matters as far as your armor goes, which is interesting. And you can increase your strength to increase how much armor you can wear. So, obviously, characters like this, who's going to be more the heavy tanky knight, is going to want strength so that they can wear the heavy armor since they're going to be getting hit in the face a lot. And then here's our wizard. And you can just switch by hitting 1, 2, or 3. You can also just click over here. I really like the ability to use hotkeys for a lot of that. That is quite nice. So we're going to run around, see what's in this nest. I find some coins. Go ahead and click on that. A rock, potion of health, potion of recovery, ability power surge. All inactive abilities return 6 turns earlier. Nice. Ooh, and a sage's wand. Let's go ahead and switch that to the mage. And give that to him. All characters have their own inventory, so you can carry quite a lot, it seems. Now, you see, you can look at the sage's rod. At the top, it shows the current rod. And the bottom, it shows what he's using now. And so you can compare the two. Both of them have a basic attack of a firebolt. Magic missile, 13 to 29 is the one I'm using. This is 15 to 35, so this is actually a little bit better. So let's actually equip that. And it would seem that you could have any character wear any armor. I don't think there's any kind of penalty for certain characters wearing certain armor. I think it's all about encumbrance. As long as you're not encumbered, you are okay. Now, we're in combat mode. This is a turn-based RPG. So we get a fight here. We get huge spiders. You can hold shift, and it shows the name of everything we can see, which we can only see the spider right now. I'm going to move. You can see our action points, too. We have action points, so 8 action points. 1 movement costs an action point. So I'm actually going to move him, my main character, here, because I don't want him to get too close. And we're going to, so we switch now. We have to end a turn by hitting space early. We're going to send our tanky character up a bit. And she's going to wait. And our mage, of course, is going to hang out in the back. Wait for the spider to attack, see if there's any more. Doesn't seem to be, so I'm just going to have my main character here. My main character is a Mechromancer or something like that. I forget what it's called. So we're just going to do basic attacks because these enemies are very easy. Use our firebolt, take him out. We're still in combat mode. Press F. Oh, nope. There's still an enemy visible. Oh, there it is. Did not even see him. So it's my turn. I think I can make it 2-minute attack. Nope, I cannot. So we're going to get our tank up here as well. Oh, there's some more spiders. So now we're going to get serious because it's starting to look like there's a pretty good bit of spiders here. So it's my main character's turn now. And your turn order does appear to be based on dexterity. And we'll go over stats and whatnot later on. I wanted to show combat first of all because that's what everybody wants to see. So as you might imagine, every class has special abilities. Our Mecro Mage or whatever it's called. Hold on, let me find out what it's called here because I've totally forgotten. Is it listed here? Actually, I don't remember. Basically, it's you craft turrets and have a little bit of melee attack. The turrets are pretty sweet, actually. So let's see. These are the turrets, or these abilities I have now. Again, and you can see you can hotkey all these abilities, which is pretty nice. G, build a bolt flinger. It costs 1 fatigue. So basically every class has fatigue instead of mana. And it also have recovery on all of your abilities. So we're going to summon the bolt flinger, which uses my turn, and it puts it behind me in this case. You can't decide where you want to put it. And our tank person is going to use challenge, which is basically a roar, which taunts all the enemies. Now, what's interesting is it increases their chances to attack her, but it doesn't guarantee that they're going to do so. And our mage, he's got 2 spells. Shadow Charm, which is causing nearby enemies to forget about you. So I guess that's more if you don't have a tank and you want them to get off your mage, you can use that. We can also use Daze, which I'm going to use. Dazes all enemies in the area, leaving them unable to attack to act for a time unless you damage them. So we're going to hit in here in case there's any enemies on the other side that we can't see. I kind of like the spell effects. They're very simple, but still. Okay, so now... Oh, something ensnared her. I guess he might have resisted. So I'm going to go ahead and use my other ability, my main character here. Charge turrets. Heals and bless all of your existing turrets. I'm not sure what bless does. I haven't been able to find the spell itself. I think it gives it a haste. Yeah, it hastes it. So it actually gets 2 attacks per round. And as you'll see here shortly, that is quite nice. And unfortunately, I can't zoom in or out. You're stuck at this camera level, which can be unfortunate. So she's going to use Savage Blow, which does a lot of damage. I'm not going to bother hitting that spider because he's almost dead. One shot that one spider. And this guy doesn't have any useful spells right now, so you're going to try to finish off that one spider. Now, a turret should get attacked. Oh, we got poisoned. Our turret shot twice, so 44 damage in a single round, which is pretty darn nice, as you can see, because my character here does 13. She does 11, and the mage does 22. So, yeah, a hasted turret, it's really, really good. However, it cannot move, and it's limited. It's got a pretty limited range of how far it can shoot. So let's hit F to try to end combat. Okay, it looks like we killed everything. So obviously, now, one thing I would like to do here, I'm going to go ahead and get into combat. I'm going to end my turns. Basically, I'm going to try to taunt these things to come down here. Now, that's an upgrade to my turret, and I'll go into that in a little bit. Unfortunately, my plan did not work as expected, because this is a very interesting mechanic in Avadon. I never did play Avadon, I think I mentioned that earlier. So this might have been something that happened then as well. But when an enemy is within range, you cannot really get away from them. You can move 1 square, but the enemy stops you, and you can't do anything else. I think you could cast a spell. Yeah, I could cast a spell, but you can see 9 turns on my turret to be able to summon another one. So unfortunately, I can't do that right now. So basically, you're done with your turn. Now the tank needs to run up and get the aggro. So we need to make sure she runs up first, and then gets right in between them. And is her taunt up? It sure is. She's going to taunt. Now, the nice thing about the taunt is it taunts and it gives her a regen, which is pretty cool. So he is going to daze. Now, normally you probably don't want to do... Oh, this is actually still on cooldown for 6 turns. So you're just going to attack with the wand. Now, you're probably not going to want to normally use your abilities this much, because you don't regenerate your fatigue easily. The only way to redo your fatigue, or your vitality, whatever they call it, is, I think you have to either return to Avadon or do something else, like drink a potion. I think it's very specific, so I don't think you can just rest anywhere and get it back, as far as I can tell. So we're just going to beat these guys down, because this shouldn't be too tough. I don't think this turret can hit them too far away. Yep, See, that's what I mean. The turret's range is pretty darn limited. So I think that's... Oh, no, there's still a few spiders over here. We're going to fall back to get more use out of the turret. Hopefully they don't... Okay, good. We're just out of range. Alright, so we're going to wait here. And the turret is not hasted anymore. He only gets one attack, but still, he terrified the spider again. I don't really know what the effects are. It probably explains that. There is documentation in the game, which is good. We're going to wait for the spider. Oh, the turret missed. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen the turret miss. Nope, missed. There's a lot of misses going on. Oop, and we're ensnared. Of course, ensnaring the turret doesn't really help much. I think they get terrified when they're low on health, almost dead. So let's see if that's the end of... Okay, that's the end of the battle. Now you can also destroy your turret. I don't think there's any point to it. You may destroy it if you wish, yes. Because I don't think there's anything you can pick up. There's mallet, tools, board. A lot of the stuff, I don't know if it has any actual use. You can't... This isn't like a lot of other games, RPGs, where you just pick everything up. And pretty much everything people will buy. Ah, a broken pot? Sure. Rat's tail? Yeah, that's 2 copper. I could use that for soup. People don't do that here. There's very specific things they can and they will not buy. So, oh, there is a spider. Pick up, see what we got here. Bottles, ale, etc. We'll skip that. One thing, I'm not really crazy about the whole having to click on the ground button to see what's around, because a lot of times, especially with being this far back, it can actually be quite difficult to tell. Oh, there's another spider there. It's gonna be quite difficult to tell where anything, like if there's actually anything there. Go ahead and get over here. Oops, more spiders. And we are very early on in the game, just FYI. Okay, I was gonna say, that's going to be really far range if you could actually attack. We're going to wait for the spiders. We are still very early on in the game, just kind of, you know, for your information. If you're like, oh, wow, is everything just spiders? No, there's not. We fought quite a few humanoid-type creatures. Some actually pretty tough fights early on that I ran into. But we're just going to attack these spiders normally. We're going to use our ranged attack. Oh, actually, one shot. Nice. Let's see, is this going to be enough? One thing I don't like is there's no way to tell how many action points it takes to move here, right? This is just like empty space, so I don't quite understand why that's like that. Like, there needs to be some kind of indication, like, okay, can I move an attack here or not? It just doesn't really tell you, which is unfortunate. Luckily, we have a lot of hit points, because like I said, we are pretty early on, and I'm only on normal difficulty. There are 4 difficulties you can pick from the start. So if you think this looks too easy, there are multiple difficulties. And one other really nice feature is that you can change the difficulties while you're playing. I think you just have to do something like save the game and then load it and then change the difficulties. But you can save anywhere, as I will demonstrate here. I'll definitely take the bandages. Bandages will heal you. Anything with a gear here is something that will heal you. So I've showed you a good bit of the combat. Let's show the characters and the races, or not the races, but the classes is what I meant to say. So my guy is, I said, I forgot, it's not listed here anywhere. Basically, again, he summons some kind of a mixture of necromancer, but with turrets, if you will. So here's his skill tree. It goes from the bottom to the top. I started off, all classes seem to start with 1 point into all of these type skills, whatever they are. This is my bolt flinger. This is the one that builds up the buffs the deterrents, basically. This actually relates to picking locks. This class can pick locks, which is pretty interesting. And this is an interesting ability because you only really need 1 character with this, because what it does is the higher this is, and again, this is not just one of those pick it and that's it. You can actually level all of these up to get additional benefits. But if you level this up, any character in the party who picks locks uses less lock picks to pick the lock. That was a lot of locks and picks in one sentence. So that's pretty neat that you could just have that 1 character. And this is more for melee. So if you want to focus more on melee, which seems weird to me, but whatever, you can do that. And as you can see, you have to get both abilities with the tie-in to unlock higher levels. So for example, to get this snare turret, I need to have both at least 1 point into build bolt flinger and 1 into Bladecraft. Now, normally upgrading these abilities only takes 1 skill point, but if you're picking up something for the first point, it appears to take 2 points. So keep that in mind when you're playing your character. But I think you do get 2 skill points per level, at least that's what I've been noticing so far. You also have your basic stats. You get 4 stats. Strength is melee attacks and allows you to wear heavier armor. Dexterity basically helps to avoid physical fire magic attacks. Your missile attacks more damage, helps you act sooner in combat, and makes my Tinker Mage is what it's called. Thank you. Tinker Mage makes special attacks do more damage, or more effective, as it were. Intelligence makes your magical attacks do more damage, obviously good for caster types. Endurance increases your health. It also causes enemy cold, poison, and acid attacks to miss more often and do less damage. So yeah, obviously tanky type stuff, wizardy type stuff, and then strength and dex is good for anyone who's meleeing. Get your experience to level, health, vitality, all your standard stuff, your resists listed here. Now this is pretty interesting. I haven't got far enough to unlock these, but basically it looks like with these you specialize in one certain area to make that area of your character better. So for example, this is utility specialization. Each level utility specialization increases the three skills in the right column by 1. So in other words, this one, and this one, which are my various turrets. Skills tend to bless or curse your allies, blah, blah, blah. You gain a specialization of levels at 5, 15, and 23. So I don't know if you can level this multiple times. No, that wouldn't make any damn sense, would it? So I'm guessing you just pick one, and then at 5, and then 15 you get another one, and then 25 you can get the last one. Obviously, spread out in such a way that by the time you get 25, it's probably going to be pretty darn near the end of the game. And by the way, speaking of playtime, I've heard that this game is anywhere from 30 hours to 65 plus, depending on how much you do. Not bad at all for a $10 RPG. And you can find it on sale for less than that sometimes. Change party order. I don't really... Oh, I see. You can change the party order. Nice. Oh, so he moves this one character in the party order. All right, that makes sense. So you can see here, I've actually put 3 points in the Bolt Flinger. And at level 3 and 6, these abilities get additional benefits. So for example, the Bolt Flinger, at level 3, the turret can also occasionally spray razors, which you saw before. And at level 6, I can also build a Razor Flinger as well, and I guess it probably actually costs fatigue or what is it called, vitality, I think. Well, whatever, you know what it is. So, and just to quickly show you how you level up in this game, we'll go ahead and pick her. We'll click the little plus sign here. Now, since she's the more tank type character, we're going to go put a point in endurance, and then we get 2 points to spend. And Path of the Shield I like, increases resistance to magical damage by 3% a level, which seems very weird. It's like, why would you bother unless you're just fighting a lot of magical creatures? But if you look at level 3, it says adds 4% a level chance to parry melee and missile attacks. So even at level 3, you're looking at 12% chance to parry melee and missile attacks, which is pretty damn good. So I'm going to go ahead and just buy that. And I have 2 points to spend, but as you can see, when I put my point in it, it uses both points. So I presume that just means the very first point you spend will cost you 2 points. So we'll say okay on that, and very quickly we'll go ahead and choose the wizard. Obviously put intelligence for him so he can blow stuff up good. We have Ward Mastery, gain 3% level resistance to physical damage, which seems pretty weak. But if you see here, we can actually get Ward Focus Mastery, which relies on having these two, which we do, which adds 5% per level to chance of inflicting critical damage, which if you want to go hardcore offensive mage, you can. One thing I found very interesting though with this mage is some of these skills. This one in particular, Arcane Blessing, grants resistance to magical, elemental, poison, and acid attacks for a short time after you cast it. But at level 3, the resistance granted by Arcane Blessing helps your entire party. To me, that seems like a really, really good spell that increases everybody's survivability, because it seems to me like a more old school, difficult RPG. Early on, obviously, it's pretty easy. I haven't been having any issues, but overall, later on, I think it does get more difficult. And at level 6, when you cast this, all nearby allies are hasted as well, which is really, really nice. So yeah, very interesting classes. I don't know what the max number of characters you can have with you, and I presume at some point you're going to be able to pick, you'll be able to pick like who comes with you, or maybe based on your choices, that might make a difference. I don't know. We'll go ahead and just pick that for now. And we'll run around a little bit more. Let's look at the UI while we're kind of looking around, looking at the various artwork, looking on the ground for things to pick up. So you'll find a lot of stuff like this shovel, basket, etc. I mean, that's a lot more realistic as far as if you're walking around rummaging, there's just going to be mostly just crap laying around. I do wish you could tell, other than just memorizing it, that I do wish you could tell what was you could actually sell, right? Because a lot of stuff I pick up because I'm thinking, well, maybe I could sell this. And obviously some stuff is just, you know, dumb. Nobody's going to buy this. Like, again, an old bug hide or something like that. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Ooh, we got lovely crystal. Bolts of cloth. Okay, I guess that's how you do tell. If it has a value on it, then you can tell. So ignore everything I just said about being able to tell if something is worth it. Let's open this door. The door is locked. You could use lockpicks to attempt to open it. You currently have one lockpick, and it would take one lockpick to see. Do you want to use it? Yes. Awesome, we got XP, which is always good. Oh. You can't use this forge until you find a runestone. When you have one, you can use it to improve your weapons and armor. Oh, that's nice. So it looks like you can upgrade equipment. Blessing crystal. Ability, battle blessing affects nearby allies. War chant for 8 turns. Shield chant for 8 turns. Nice. Studded leather armor. Chainmail. Let's go ahead and give that to our tank type character. One thing I will say that is disappointing to me is that your character graphic does not change. Because let's be honest, the graphics are, well, you know what? I say that. I've been saying a lot of things that apparently aren't accurate. Hold on. If I find my key. Can I move this? No. Let's try to take that off. Does he look different now? No. I still look the same, I think. It's kind of hard to tell with the small graphics. No, I think he looks the same, because I think I've even have a... Yeah, he's even got a hat on, but my character doesn't have a hat, unless it's a black hat. Nope. So I do really wish that your character would change, because to me, one thing I really like about RPGs, not just the search for better loot, but having your character actually look like they're getting more and more badass as you progress. Looking the same through the whole game, assuming that this is indicative of what it's going to be like later on, that your character doesn't ever change looks from getting new armor. That's really unfortunate to think about. I mean, I realize that takes some serious art assets to get, you know, every single character to wear every piece of armor, especially when there's no class limits or anything like that. Like so your mage could be running around in full plate. But it's still very disappointing to me. Again, that's a pretty big deal for me. So that's a disappointing thing. The sign says storage caves, low workshops. And of course you do have the fog of war. Any place you haven't been is black completely. And then places you have been do get the fog of war effect, where you can't see what's going on right now to see if there's enemies ambushing you. So let's quickly look through the various menus. You can switch between like a melee and a ranged weapon if your class can use that ranged weapon. You have the abilities here, your inventory, which we went over. Here's the journal. Nothing is voice acted at all that I found. So keep that in mind. If you don't like reading a lot of text, you might not be the game for you. Like I said, this is very old school, so it's very text heavy. Just keep that in mind. Those of you who like the old school will probably like that, though. Will probably, or at least not be bothered by the fact that it's all text. So here's some of our quests that we have. Pretty standard stuff there. There's nothing like quest markers or anything like that. Oh, actually, I take that back. There is a quest marker here that you can clearly see. So, see, we also have instructions. He or they or she. They do have directions here on various things about the game. So they don't. At the beginning, does have a little bit of a tutorial, you know, showing you how to fight. So he doesn't just throw you out there and go, oh, good luck. It does show you the basics, and it does seem like a lot of the stuff is covered in the instruction manual here. And it's pretty beefy. It's got a lot of stuff in there, so, you know, kudos to them for having that. So obviously, we can save anywhere. We can start combat if we want. This is basically if you want to get the jump on enemies, I suppose. You can also set hotkeys. Or quick slots. I think it's function keys. Nope. I'm not sure how. Oh, shortcut F5. So that's kind of weird. They do kind of break tradition here. F3 is your quick save. quick F4 is quick load, which anyone who's done old school PC games can tell you that is very dangerous to have quick save next to quick load. So I think they probably should have changed the defaults for that. But that's very, very minor. You can change that yourself anyway, so that's not a big deal. So it looks like F5 through F8, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, are that. Oh, you can also use quick slots for potions and whatnot. This is just your health, your stamina, your basic character portraits. Again, you can cycle through them by hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many people you can have in there. Another cool feature that I really like is you can click on the UI's elements and put them wherever you want. Well, most of them. Well, and by most of them, I mean 2 out of 3. You can move the roster. Come on. Wait, why is it not popping up now? Okay, I don't know if that's a bug or what. I didn't have a problem with that before. But, oh, you know what? I think I did. There we go. Yep. Okay, so you can hide the roster. That's pretty cool. Map, you can hide the map if you want. If you really want to get immersive. It's very interesting, and not necessarily in a good way. The map looks very, like, 8-bit-ish. I think it really breaks the aesthetic of the way the game looks. I think it's just very jarring that. Again, it's not a huge thing. It's just very odd that it has that 8-bit look. And the game is not like that at all. And I will say that, again, despite being old school graphics and being very... It's hard, I mean, if I can explain this without making an ass out of myself. They're very simple, but they still look very good at the same time. Again, it's very hard to describe what I'm trying to say here. They're very simplistic, but they're very, for the most part, they're very crisp, very clear. Most of the things, even though they're tiny on the ground, I can make out what they are relatively easy. Now, it can be hard to see them if there's a lot of clutter, but maybe that's what they're going for, right? You're just walking around and oops, you missed that uber dagger that was just hidden amongst the pile of bones because you thought it was just a pile of bones and you didn't bother to look. So, you know, that could be part of the game and I'm okay with that. So, let's see, anything else that I wanted to talk to? Let's see. UI customization is definitely awesome. Oh, 2 big things. One, you might have noticed, there's no music. Some people might be okay with that. Some people might not be okay with that. Maybe you can, worst case scenario, you just get some old school RPG music, play it in the background. There is obviously sound effects and ambient music. I'm okay with that, actually. I'm perfectly okay with no music, with just ambience. I feel that music takes a little bit of being immersed in the game away. A little bit, not a lot. I feel like it's more, I feel more immersed generally if there's no music. Generally if there's no music. Not always, but at any rate. But yeah, and also one thing I'll say I do not like is how loud the music is sometimes. Or how loud some things are. Like that in particular, like opening your inventory. It's just kind of a loud, abrasive noise. And I don't know, just some of the sounds are just... The sounds sound low quality to me in some respects. Like, oh, this is where I came in, I think. It just sounds low quality. And like I say, I know they're going for old school, but I would have really liked better sound effects. Like I said, a little... Oops, sorry about that. I clicked out of it. But yeah, a little better sound quality and a little less abrasive noises. Again, that's pretty minor. That's definitely would not keep me from playing it. But yeah, anyway, that is Avadon 2, The Corruption. So far, I'm quite enjoying it. Even though I'm not that far into it, I've really been enjoying the whole old school point and click. Ooh, nice bronze helmet that I almost missed because it looked like, to me, it looked like a ham on the table. So right after I said, no, everything looks exactly like it is. And I'm like, ah, this looks like a ham. Except it's a helmet. Totally the same thing. But yeah, I quite enjoy it. If you like this old school style where there's no voice acting, there's a lot of text to read, there's, you know, it's going to be probably a bit more difficult. Again, I haven't read anything specifically about this game's difficulty, but my understanding is that it's a little bit more on the difficult side, especially if you pick the higher difficulties, which again, keep in mind you can change it at any time. But yeah, if you like the old school RPG, party, turn-based type thing, I would definitely say check this out. I would also say check out Avadon 1 because I've heard good things about it. Again, I say that as someone who owns it but never played it. Again, the curse of Steam sales. But yeah, definitely check out Avadon. Again, it's $9.99 on Steam and GOG, and oddly enough, $20 on the developer's website. You can also pick it up on the iPad. I will have all relevant links in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave comments in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of this video and what you thought of this game. Follow me on Twitter, and I will see you next time.
Step back though. We are getting this worked up about a mobile game. I mean,
I do hate you though. I want to be 100% clear with a moment of seriousness. I hate your guts.